The next type of graph is three variations of a stem and leaf. Okay, so for the stem and leaf, the stems are kind of the base unit, and the leaves are kind of the individual units. And so in this case, I'm going to look at a graph. We're going to start with the basic stem and leaf, and what these are for a sample of males, the number of pairs of shoes that are owned. Okay, and so this is our first set. And so there are 20 males, and each of them were asked, how many pairs of shoes do you own? Okay, this should have a title on it. It doesn't, but it should. At the beginning I said a key is necessary, and for stem and leaf, that's the type of graph that you need a key for. It's the only one I can think of that you would need a key, but it's for the reader to read. And so this says key 2/2 represents a male student with 22 pairs of shoes. And so, like I said, they were asked 22 male students, and so this particular 2 represents 2. And so in this group, all of the people who have single-digit number of shoes are in this group. And so you'll notice that they all go in numerical order. And so one male has 4 pairs of shoes, and 3 of the males had 5 pairs of shoes, and so forth. Then the next number, the 1, represents all of the males who have shoes from 10 to 19 pairs, and again in order. So 4 people have 10 pairs, and so forth, or 22, and 38 is the most number of pairs of shoes that any of these males own. Okay, and so this is just a regular stem and leaf plot. Make sure you have the key. Put a title on there too. The next type is called a double stem plot, and what the double stem plot will do is take each of the stems and split them in half. Okay, and so there'll be 2 of each stem. So you'll see here with the double stem plot. Okay. Every stem shows up twice. And so for each of these, the first stem will contain the leaves from 0 to 4, and the second stem will contain all of the leaves from 5 to 9. And so this is the same data set. This is a regular stem plot. This is the double. And so for this first one, 0 in the zeros with just the single values. 4, there's 1 with 4, and so that will be in the first half, and then, because that's in the 0 to 4, and then the 5 to 9 in the upper half, that will be all. There's a tendency to want to kind of even them out, to have it, but it's, like I said, this first half is from 0 to 4 in the 1s, and this from 5 to 9, just like here. In the 10s, all of them are in the 0 to 4, and there's none in the 15 to 19. And so, but you'd still write that stem even though there aren't any leaves on that one, because it's going to help us show, oh yeah, there's a gap there in that 15 to 19 range. Okay, and so again, same group of people, except the stems have been split in half. Now, I'm going to look at a double back-to-back stem plot. Okay, and so the stem plot, a back-to-back stem plot, is evaluating 2 different groups. And so on the right are the males that we've just been looking at, and this is a double stem plot. And so this double stem plot looks just like this double stem plot with all the values. Okay, and then they're comparing it to another group, and they randomly selected females, 20 females, and asked them number of shoes that they own. And so what this does is to help us compare 2 different groups. And so it appears that the median value for the females is higher than the median value for the males, and we can kind of figure out the shape as well. That's what it's, but it's all kind of, but it's easy to confuse what makes something a double stem plot versus what makes it a back-to-back. And so this one is actually both. The fact that they're repeating the stems means that that's a double stem plot. And then the back-to-back, they kind of share the same spine here. Uh, and from the stems heading out to the right, you'll notice that they're going in numerical order, ascending. And then for the group on the left, it's also ascending, but it's ascending from right to left. And so it's starting from the stem, and all the values are increasing out from there. So we can tell the shape of the distribution. Again, we haven't kind of worked with that the whole lot here, but we can tell the shape of the distribution. We still have all of the individual data values. Now it's kind of tough for a large data set, because if we had thousands of males and thousands of females, boy, that would be a lot of leaves that would be rewriting on for that. So that's kind of gets a little bit much. So and then for a dot plot, that's pretty simple. It's very similar to a to the histogram, but it only has this one has a class width of 1, and so it just records every item. So we can see in this one, this is number of siblings that people were asked. That 3 people had 0 siblings, and 1 had 6, and 1 had 5, and 3 had 3. Pretty easy. Again, you notice you've got labeled, and you don't really. This is a frequency on the vertical axis there. This is taken from a TCNJ survey, and so pretty simple, pretty straightforward for the dot plot. So that's it for now.